All right. So I'm muting everybody and make sure you have you want a chair and some space around you. And we begin by scooting to the front edge of the chair, hands comfortably resting on your thighs. Attend to your zhongjung or your central upright. So if I've slouched and my head is forward, I don't have a very good central upright. And then when I relax, which is the next thing we need to do, then my body's crumpling and crumpling and crumpling more. So that's why we have to tip the pelvis forward, lift the chest up a bit, and bring the chin slightly down so the base of the skull opens and the crown is up. So once you've got that zhongjung or central upright intact, then you want to relax, release, unclench. When we relax, initially, what people think of as relaxation is often slumping, slouching. We think of, hey, relax, that we like kind of go like this into a couch or something. But what's interesting about relaxation is that it dilates the body and it lengthens every relationship through the body, because tension and stress, what it's doing is jamming the joints together and then constricting everything, sort of like there's rubber bands wrapped around everything. So when we're tense and worried, stressed, or clenched, everything is stuck together and jammed together. But when we relax the body, there's this lengthening and space all throughout the body in a longitudinal line, but also in the circumference of everything. It gets broader and more open. So this central pillar plus relaxation and softness allows for flow, allows for nerve flow, blood flow, lymphatic flow, chi flow. It also allows for the separation of gravity and levity. So the other problem with tension and grip is that it doesn't allow us to be grounded, and it impedes the fluid motion of the body, right? So when we get our alignment, we relax, dilate, and soften. In the beginning, it feels less stable than being tight. It feels less stable, but go with that feeling of feeling a little less stable, a little less held together. And have the idea that there's this grounding quality, a sort of sinking, what they call chunwan, which is this gravity down. And then qingling, which is levity, lightness, and nimbleness throughout the body. So just in your sitting practice, you can be doing very important, subtle adjustment and practice from stuck together and slouched and gripped to spacious, long, open, fluid, grounding, and feeling levity and buoyancy through the body. To assist with all of that, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. First movement. Slide hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, arch the back. And slide your hands forward, past your knees, hollow the chest, drop your head, round your back. Again, slide hands, elbows, shoulder blades back. Do this with the inhale. And exhale. Round. 3 more. And settle back to neutral, that position we started in. Now from here, left hand forward, right hand and elbow back, turn the shoulders, turn the head to the right. Come back to center and then turn to the left. Center and turn. Center and turn. A few more with the breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn. One more each way. And inhale, center. Hang the arms loose and shift the weight and lean. Now lift. As you're leaning to your right, lift your left wrist and foot and just teeter-totter right at the edge there, and then come back to center tall. And then lean, soften, lift that right wrist, right foot, and then back to center tall. And then lean, and back to center tall. Again, lean. And center. One more each way. And center. Scapular range of motion. The shoulder blades that are in and on your back, they spread apart, lift, squeeze back, slide down, neutral. Do it again. Apart, lift, back, down, neutral. A few more. Liberating these mechanisms so that they can be loose and limber and not be carrying around excess density, excess weight. Everything in the body needs to be fluid, open, dilated, and pliable. Let's go back and up, forward and down. So each Shen Fa or body mechanism method or movement basically takes us through a trip of either a simple movement, simple mechanism, or more complicated mechanisms, and it cleans off whatever's extra. It trains the brain and body how to control that specific mechanism. And release to neutral. Bring your legs closer together. Tip forward. Swing the hands forward, backs of hands touching. Notice that I did not lift my arms up. So they're down but forward. Then go out and then tip your hips back, sweep the arms around and in. So we'll repeat that a couple of times. This is a mechanism that the arm can stay very loose, fluid, like it's floating in water, and we can still make it move. And this emphasis on staying down but going away from the body, that opens up this space inside. Again, no tension required. This is hydraulics. Now we keep that quality. We go forward and up. So now we are at around chest level. Open. Let the whole area here open, but stay relaxed. Float the arms down. Stay relaxed. Neutral. And then again, swing them forward, leaning a little forward. Come up. And then float open. Down. One more at that middle level. So again, looser and looser and looser. So every round is dissolving something. It's cleaning something off. We're not adding, we're subtracting. Now let's go forward and up and up and up. Whatever your highest height is. Open. Palms face forward. Really important here is that we don't crank the arms behind the body. I'm not jamming my joints. It's just right here, just right along the side. So one of the rules of the human body is the front is where there is all this room, all this space for movement. The back has a little bit of space, but not equal. So we're not equal front to back. One more time. Forward and up, all of this room. We want to make sure we have all of this room in our brain, in our joints, in our tissue. Now that same sequence, but in reverse. So back, out, but not up. Notice the hands are down. My hands are down. And then around and in. So we have to establish that ability to float the arms away from the body. Circle them in. Again, this is something that people don't do. Whenever I teach this, people invariably do this. They tighten and shorten the body instead of soften and lengthen. Stay soft and long, and then come back loose and soft. Now, soft and long out and up. So saying it's very different than if I jam this by lifting versus if I'm soft and long on both sides. Stay soft and long all the way through. Down. And back. Opening. Lifting. Stay long, soft, and relaxed all the way to the end. Down. One more like that. Out. Then up. Forward, down. Polishing, softer, softer. We go out and up and up. And then forward, down, soft and loose, back to neutral. Out, up, up. Over top, down. One more. Out, up, all the way over the top. Now scoot a little bit back on your chair. Let's do the full leg range work here. So we've got extend and bend. Simple gesture at the knee. Extend, bend. Extend, bend. Two more. Switch legs. Extend, bend. Extend, fully straighten, bend as bent as you can given your chair situation. Extend, bend, extend, and down. Now, right knee, lift, down. Left knee, lift, down. So this is a hinging at the hip joint. Hip joint hinge, down, right? We're making more acute this angle, and then back to a 90 degree. An acute angle, down, down. Now, straighten that right leg out, point foot, flex foot, point, flex. So each of these is Shen Fa, body mechanism method. Training the brain and body as well as loosening up what's physically stuck in the joint. Now, tilt and tilt. Invert, evert. Invert, evert. Now, invert, point, evert, flex. A little more complicated Shen Fa. In, point, out, flex. In, point, out, flex. Circle. Reverse that circle. Out, point, in, flex. And down. Point, other foot now. Point and flex. Point, flex. Point, flex. One more. Point, flex. Now, tilt, 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 and tilt, point, tilt, flex. In, point, out, flex. Circle. Reverse circle. And back foot down. Now a compound movement. Lift the right knee, flex the right foot, and pull the right leg in. Load. Push away from you. Reload. Set the foot down. Other leg. Load. Push. Load. Down. Other foot. Load. Push away. Load. Down. And load. Push. And down. Scoot once more to the front edge of your chair. Step your feet wider than hip distance. Two different ways to get the rotating hips. Lift your toes and turn toes and knees in. Lift the toes, turn toes and knees out. So the heels stay on the ground and you turn, turn. Turn, turn. One more. And neutral. Now the balls of the feet stay on the ground. The heels come in, the knees go out. And then the heels go out, the knees come in. So it's just slightly different in how the muscle actions are engaging, but it's still internal and external rotation, just with a different pivot point on the ground. And neutral. Now hang your arms loose. So we took some time, we loosened everything up, and after we do that, we don't want to just put it right back on to being tense and stuck. So ideally you keep them loose. Now hip hinge, fold at the hips, and can you just let your arms hang? So you can see with my arms, I'm not rounding my back, I'm folding at my hips, but I'm letting my scapula and arms dangle, and then sit vertical, and then tip back and see what my arms are doing here. And again, I'm not yanking my arms back, I'm just letting them hang. They're loose. Keeping the arms loose as we fold and fold, sit upright, tip back, fold. So what this helps with is not being top heavy now when we get ready to stand up, because any excess weight in the body or tension in the body acts like weight held in the body, and it doesn't allow us to be grounded. So when we're relaxed, we're very grounded and we're lighter. We're less heavy, we're more buoyant. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of class. So slide the feet back a little, fold, and when we go to stand up, instead of thinking it's some effort, instead stay very relaxed and just pour yourself forward out of the chair and stand up by allowing all the weight to go down. That's that chunwan, that gravity down, and then just use buoyancy and looseness through the upper body. Rather than strength, it's more about I'm not holding any weight and therefore it's no problem. Standing up is no problem. Now fold at the hips. Sink. Notice arms are loose, just hanging. Fold at those hips and sit. And then tip back. And we'll do that a few times. Fold, pour the weight forward, root down, stand up, stay super light and loose, and then fold, fold. Once again, any tension in the body acts like an impediment. And when we're relaxed, there's fluid, there's lubricant, there's space. Now, don't sit in the chair. Let's hinge. Again, don't land in the chair, but fold almost 98% of the way there, and then just come right back up. And once you're up, then add to it this thing here. Notice I'm pushing the pelvis, the hips forward, and letting these arms hang loose. And then middle, and then fold at hips, and then sink. So there's all this room to move into this shape, this Tai Chi squat. There isn't equal room in the other direction, but there's some room. There's some room to do this. So again, the body wants this. It needs these shapes. Otherwise, there's residue buildup. There's loss of function. Again, Taoist practice, it's incredibly simple philosophically. It's because our body's an amazing vehicle that it's a complex practice. But philosophically, it's just so simple. It's saying, we'll just go to every mechanism and use it how it's meant to be used and do it regularly, and then you upkeep function. Right? It's not that wild of a concept. So now we're standing. Keep your chair behind you, sitting where you could sit on it at any point. So don't move your chair. Do not move your chair. Keep it where it was. I moved mine, but you don't move yours. So now we've got this ability to tip into the toes, middle, and then into the heels. Be very careful when you're going a little bit to your heels. So be very safe as you go toes and heels. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Just a little bit back, right? There's less room that way. There's more room this way. And then there's less room that way, but still some. So find this range of motion, be able to execute that movement while totally at rest, totally relaxed. Now add that arms go forward when you tip forward, but notice again, I didn't lift my arms up. I didn't tighten. I'm lengthening. Then when I rock back, swing these arms back and a little behind. And then forward and sweep them forward. And then back, sweep them back. Forward, back. So how much can you move like you're made of water, which of course you are? Can you get this feeling of sloshing the liquid forward, 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 and then sloshing the liquid back? So we're reclaiming our fluid nature, fluid hydraulic vehicle. Now, come back and stay a little bit back in your heels. Turn your palms forward, out and up. Now, tip into your toes. Sweep those hands over, around in front, palms face up. So we're still in our toes. We're reaching. Then rock to the heels, bend your elbows and bring the hands in. There's this drawing in gesture. Notice how it finishes. I'm getting all the way back. Then settle to the middle of your feet, your hands drop and settle to the belly. And then remember our squat that we just did. Hips go back, sit the buttocks. As you're sitting the buttocks, release your arms soft and long, completely loose. Then push through the earth and come back to standing in the upright position. Release everything down to the earth. And let's do it again. Rock to your heels, swing the arms out, up. Rock to your toes, flow the arms over top, palms face up. Rock to your heels, fold at those elbows, bring the hands in, settle to the middle of the feet, hands settle to the belly. Hips hinge and we sink, release the arms loose, let the back be broad and open. Push through the earth, rise all the way up, right? As we come up, there's usually a little bit of residue of action. So drop that residue back to the earth. And again, rock back, swing the arms back, out and up. Follow that flow, tip to your toes, sweep over top, palms face up. Then like a little cascade waterfall coming in, flowing down to the belly, and then hips back, hollow the front, broaden the back, and sink. Release everything to the earth. Push through the earth to rise up to standing. 2 more. Release everything to the ground. Rock back, open, and lift. And Martin, notice one thing here. When you did it, you had your elbows bent, and then, right, how we get there is really important. So notice my arms stayed long. They swing back before they do anything. So there's this back down here, and then they're long, right? There's no bending. Long. So I'm being pulled open through this whole area. And then this wrapping around. So as you close in front, you're really opening your back up. And then this bringing in, folding the arms, and then settling, everything settles. And then hips, this hollowing of the front that then opens the mechanism for this Tai Chi squat. And then push through the earth, rise to middle, or to vertical. One more time. It's called Sink Chi Wash Organs. Arms stay loose and long, rock back, swing the arms back, and then out. Go the long way around. And get the long way around. There you go. Palms face up at the end here. And then this folding in, feeding down through the central channel to the belly. Hollow the front, sink the buttocks, and down. Now, after you come up to standing, we do what's called shogun, or closing gesture. Wing, roll, fold. Fold at the elbows, bring the hands over top, and then down to the belly. Turn the palms in to face the belly. Right, so there's this descending, 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 but we're not finished until we soften all the edges out, where we let that soften and hang, and the palms turn into a bit of a cradle position. Let's do that one more time. Wing, roll, fold. So it's wings, turn the palms up, folding at the elbow joint, this gathering gesture, and then a descending quality or consolidating quality. So it's coming out of the head, out of the emotional center to the gut. And then it's not finished until we soften the shoulders, elbows, and palms. And there's this what's called middle embrace. We're consolidating and storing. And then hands crossed and down. Now, Tai Chi. Take a slightly wider stance than normal. So put all your weight into one leg and just take maybe ½ inch out. So you're just a teeny bit wider. And then a bit of softness through the legs, and making sure to not have the butt sticking back and up. So this quality, right? You see the shape change in my legs. If I lock my knees and my butt sticks back versus the tail down, and the knees have just this little bowing, spring-like quality, right? And then rising hands. So float your hands forward and up. Really important here is the shape. Hollow, somewhat internally rotated on the way up. Then settle the shoulders, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the heels of hands, and then sweep down. And again, backs of hands as if you're painting the wall with the backs of your hands. So see how clearly my wrists are this way. And then at the top, there's this settle through the shoulder, then the arm, then the forearm. Now the hand is in this position, sweep down. Right? So we want extreme change between this and this. On the way up, wrists are like that. On the way down, they're very different. So be clear on that idea. That's very different on the way up and very different on the way down. One more. Change. Down. Now, scoop hands in front. Same idea, except out to the side. Wings. And then you got to do that flow change where the whole shape of the limb changes. Then you sweep down. And then the whole shape changes to a more round shape. Open. And then the whole shape changes down. The crane opening its wings. And sometimes that visualization of a big crane billowing out wings is helpful. Now, wings. Turn your right palm up. Start folding at that right elbow. And crane wings sweep the left arm down. So now you've got one high, one low. Then like two magnets attract. Right hand going down, left hand coming up. They can even touch. And then separating them. So one is sinking, one is rising. And then the right hand goes out over the top. Left hand sweeps out like a wing. And we're here. Now left hand turn palm up and bring it over top as right hand wings under, top and bottom. And then magnets attracting to each other, then repelling from each other, and then around. Let's do that again. Right hand over top, left hand underneath. Together, apart, around. Together, apart, around. And then both hands down. Scoop position, bring up, and then elbows back. Now we've loaded the mechanism for turning the hands over and push. Important piece with this push, full extend. So you want your scapula on your back. You want to feel some movement back here with the shoulder blade getting free. Because a lot of times people have stuck barnacles, so they stop their push here. But we want to make sure we've got all of that freedom. And then at the end, release the wrist and hand and let the soft hands come around the back side and then draw back towards your chest. And notice I don't stop here. It's back. Get these elbows back. Get the scapula to squeeze together back there. And then turn your palms over and push. So again, we don't stop here. We don't stop here. We don't stop here. You get full extension. Then turn those hands around behind and full return. All the way back. Then turn the hands and push. So one important piece in Taoist thinking about power and strength is that, again, in the Western fitness world, it's changing now, right? There's a lot of interesting thoughts coming that are starting to lead them into some of these other discoveries. But a big piece of strength and power has always been this idea of muscle density, muscle mass, which is part of health. But a huge piece is, can your mechanisms fully express through the whole range of their range of motion, their built-in range? So that's where, again, you could have the biggest muscles, but if you can only go to here, you can't issue the same amount of power as if you could fully express and fully return, right? Now, left hand turn, ready to push. Push just the left hand. So begin extending, 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 extending. And as you continue extending, let this little rotation happen right in your middle pivot. Belly, low back to groin. This mechanism here. So there's this little turn. Now turn left hand to face the body. Right hand turns ready to push. One push, one draw. This mechanism turning. Turn right hand to face the body, left hand face forward. One push, one draw. A little turn from that middle mechanism. And simultaneously turn those hands. And then simultaneously push and draw. Right? So you see my hands, they're in this orientation. Simultaneously reorient. And then push and draw. And Tai Chi is full of these really enriching, developmentally rich, asymmetrical brain challenges. They're all over the place. And they force the brain and nervous system to really get embedded and connected. Especially when you go slow, when you don't yank it into position, but you go, right? Now, both hands back, down, release. Take your left hand behind your back so that we're not thinking about the left hand, or you could just hang it by your side and put it in your pocket, whatever. But get it out of the play so you're not thinking about the left hand. And we've got our middle pivot. We've got our little Tai Chi stance. Now change your weight to your right leg more, then to the middle, and then to your left leg more. Importantly, moving from the middle mechanism rather than being stuck there and leaning the body, right? So this is what a lot of times people are doing. They're stuck here, so they're doing all kinds of other less desirable movements. So try to just move only from your middle, weight into one leg, and then weight into the other. Now remember that this middle pivot can also rotate. So shift to your right leg and turn the middle pivot to the right. And stay turned to the right as you shift to the left leg, and then turn to the right. And then stay turned to the left as you shift to the right and turn to the right. Now, very important is that I'm usually doing less than you think I am, right? So I'm going over here, and then I'm just doing a couple of degrees, right? I'm not torquing my body. And then shift to the left, and then just a couple of degrees. And then shift to the right, and a couple of degrees. Now, as you shift right, turn right, float your right hand out. But remember, out, not up. So I didn't tighten and lift. I softened and lengthened. Now, shift to your left leg. Notice that brings the hand along. Turn from the middle. That also brings the hand along. And then finish by sweeping across. Turn your hand around. Now we're ready to shift to the right. Turn to the right. And then brush knee. Sweep the hand along. Do it again. Shift. Turn. Sweep the leg. The arm goes, but it doesn't lift. Turn the palm around, and then it's shift. Turn. Brush knee. And again, the arm keeps going, elastic, pliable, loose. It's now ready to shift, turn, bring it back, sweep the leg. Let it keep going, get long, and then shift. Turn. Now here, brush knee, hand goes out. Now float the arm up around chest level. Now we shift, turn. Now this arm does the bear swats the jumping fish. Drop the arm down into the water, ready for brush knee, and then we do that same brush knee. Shift, turn, brush knee. The arm goes out and up, palm facing forward. Now it's shift and turn and swat. So Chris, you should be doing the other arm, my friend. The other arm. I'm your mirror. I'm your mirror. Shift, turn, brush knee. Float that arm. And then shift, turn, swat that jumping fish. Once more down through the brush knee. Now the fish is jumping higher. So we're floating the arm, floating this arm up. And now reach, scrape the sky. So straightening up, reaching as high as you can, turning the body, and then bring that arm down. Remember, Shenfa, body mechanism method, we're trying to liberate, loosen, soften, separate these parts from each other. So if you go reaching and you're using tension to do it, can you soften away that tension? Much better to reach less high in a soft state than to add a bunch of tension and start yanking the body around. But you'll usually find when you relax, you get more range, actually. And brush knee. Now, from here, we brush knee, float the arm up like a wing, roll and fold, bend at the elbow. Now shift, turn from your middle pivot and push. Full extend. Drop the arm down, ready for brush knee, and then shift, turn, brush knee. Wing, roll, fold. And shift, turn, push. Drop the hand down into the water and shift, turn, brush knee. Wing, roll, fold, and shift, turn, push. Down into the water. Shift, turn, brush knee. Now, turn the hand around. Let's go shift, turn, sweep the lake. The lake vapors and rises up. And then we're ready for the cloud. Shift, turn, cloud. The cloud rains down, filling the lake. Then we shift, turn, lake, vapor. Shift, turn, cloud. Make sure you've shifted and turn. Hand comes down. And then make sure you shift and turn. Then the hand. And then make sure you shift and turn. That's looking good, everybody. Yeah. Now, take your right arm behind your back. Left arm out. Shift into your left leg. Turn a little bit to your left. Float that left arm out, 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 but not up. Then shift, turn, sweep the leg. The arm keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, but it doesn't go up. It goes out or along that line. Then turn the hand around. Now we're ready to go shift, turn, brush knee. The hand keeps going, 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 going. Turn the palm around, shift. Turn, sweep the leg. Hand keeps going and going and going and going, and then turn the hand around and shift. Turn, brush knee. Hand keeps going, going, going. Turn the hand around, shift. Turn, sweep the leg. So this is the bear washing its paws in the stream. Shift, turn, brush knee. Now the arm goes out and floats up, chest level. Now shift, turn from your middle pivot. The bear swats the jumping fish all the way across. The arm falls down, dips into the water where you're ready for brush knee. Shift, turn, brush knee. The arm goes, then floats up. We're ready to go. Shift, turn, swap the jumping fit. Hand dips down and we're ready to go. Shift, turn, brush knee. Arm floats up. Now we're ready to go. Shift, turn, swap the fit. Now the highest jumping fish, or the bear, scrapes the sky. Arm floats up and keep reaching up as you shift and turn. So now you're reaching, scraping the sky. Arm floating down, ready for brush knee. Shift and turn, brush knee. Arm floats out, up, and then we're reaching up, over top, turning. Arm down, and shift, turn, brush knee. Arm out and up. Remember softness. We're training soft, easy, relaxed, leisurely movement. That doesn't mean it's not effective. It's quite effective. Now, brush knee, wing, roll, pull. We're ready to go. Shift, turn from the belly, push. So now we're unloading that arm all the way across. Drop the arm down, dip it in the water. Now we're ready for brush knee. Shift and turn, brush knee. Wing, roll, pull. Shift and turn, extend. That. Again. Shift and turn, brush knee. Wing, roll, fold, and shift and turn, push. That. Shift and turn, brush knee. One more time. Wing, roll, fold. Shift and turn, push. That. Now, brush knee. Turn the palm around, sweep the leg. So now we're doing sweep the leg. Leg turns to vapor. Then shift and turn, cloud. The cloud rains down. Shift and turn, lake. Lake turns to vapor. Shift and turn, cloud. Cloud rains. Shift, turn, lake. Vapor, shift, turn, cloud. One more. Now, sweep the leg. Bring your right arm out, float it far away. So now we have this relationship. Turn your left hand around so the palm faces back to the left. Your right hand as well. Now we shift. We turn, brush knee, and sweep the leg. They keep going and going and going, and then at the very end, they spiral or rotate, so they're ready to go back the other way. Shift, turn, brush knee, sweep the leg. Now, important, stay grounded, stay centered, but then the pliability of the arms. They go, 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 and then turn them around, and then we're ready to go. Shift, and turn, brush, sweep. They go, they go, they go. Turn them around and shift, turn, brush, sweep. Now, right arm floats up around chest level. Turn left hand around. Now we're ready for shift and turn, brush knee, and swap that jumping fish. Then the right arm goes down, left arm floats up. Now we're ready for shift, turn, brush knee, swap the fit. Left arm down, right arm up. We're ready for shift, turn, brush, swap. The arms change, and we're ready again for shift, turn, brush, and swap. One more each way. Now, the high jumping fish or scrape the sky. So your left hand is still down here. Right arm now, shift and turn, brush, right? And bring them all the way through, and then they change. Right arm is down, left arm is up. Shift and turn, brush, knee, scrape the sky. And then they change. Turn. One more. Now, brush knee and push. So you're over your right leg. Left hand's coming down, getting ready for brush knee. Right arm wing, roll, fold. Now we're ready to go shift, turn, brush, knee, and push, extend. Then your right arm comes down, ready for brush knee. Left arm, wing, roll, fold. Now we're ready. Shift and turn, brush and push. Then as left hand comes down, right arm, wing, roll, fold, can you get that timing so they both arrive ready at the same time, and then we just flow through. Shift and turn, brush and pull. Right arm down, left arm up, roll, fold, and shift, turn, brush. Again, left arm down, right arm, wing, roll, fold, and shift, turn, brush. One more. Now pause here. Just turn your top arm into a cloud, bottom hand in the lake. Now shift, turn, cloud, lake. And then that cloud rains down as the lake vapors up. Then we're ready to go. Shift and turn, cloud and lake. Vapor. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. Vapor. Shift and turn. Vapor. Shift and turn. Cloud, lake to vapor. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Last one. Now, keep your left hand down, right arm down. Wash your paws. Now, a progressively shrinking movement. Settling, settling, and still. And then Zhang or standing as if you are a tree. So keep facing forward, but remember, as I described earlier, that tail sinking, legs in a slight work, sort of semi-squatted position. So to the degree that you can, you could go a little wider and a little lower. But what you don't want to feel is pain in the knees. You don't want to be jamming your knee joints forward or anything. So there's a gradual deepening, right? As things open up, you start to feel, oh yeah, I could stand like this. But see how there's still this straightness here. I'm not in this position. So very specifically, there's this quality with legs that are like tree roots and tree trunks connecting to the ground. And then we float the wings and a big buoyant hoop or circle, right? And sometimes they'll hold this for an hour, 2 hours, right? You could imagine what you'll come across as you're holding this is all the places that you're trying to muscle to stay in it. And the process is melting and melting. So a great technique is if you feel your legs start to burn, rise up a little bit, let the burn off, but don't quit. Don't come out of the exercise. If you feel the arms start to burn, soften them, sink them, or bring them in closer to your body. So find this sweet spot. There's like this sweet spot where you feel like you're still placing a load of work on your hydraulic system, on your chi, but yet it's something you might be able to sustain for 2 hours. Not that we will, but that idea. And the statement of stillness is not the absence of movement, especially in the Parkinson's world, right? With with symptoms and things like that, right? It's not about stopping and arresting that. So you can let that flow through the body if you're having any wiggly symptoms, but have the idea that you're allowing it to go through. You're not stopping it because a lot of times it's the tension to try to stop something that causes the mechanism to shake. Whereas when you relax, maybe there's some movement still, but it's a little more fluid. It's a little more, it's less jammed up and more free, right? So while you're holding this position, just a final 30 seconds, find that perfect edge where you're backed off enough but extended enough that you feel workload. And if you feel the desire also to adjust the shoulders or adjust the neck or spine or hips want to move, it's all good. So this isn't about standing rigid and still, it's about staying right at this edge, putting that workload onto the brain, nervous system. And so Marjan, with your hands, I would say bring them closer and lower so that you can take that symptom and see if you can get it to just relax a little bit, right? Make any adjustments so that that movement is less agitating and more part of the whole. And then from here, turn your palms down and just soften. And remember that first movement that we did when we stood up. Rock to your heels a little, open and lift. Rock to your toes, sweep around. Palms face up. Rock to your heels, folding at the elbows, bring hands in. Settling to the middle of the feet, hands settle to the belly. Hinge hips, sink the buttocks, release. So this just clears out anywhere that you're stuck, resets the ideal flow of chi in the body according to the Taoists. Rock back, open and lift. Rock forward, sweep over. Rock back, bringing in and settling. Hollowing the front so that you can sink and release through. And back to standing. One more. Rock back. Rock forward. Rock a little back. Settle to the middle. Hollow. Back to standing. And then we shogun, or closing gesture to finish. Wing, roll, fold over. This consolidating, settling, quieting, returning gesture. And then the finish is sealing the practice, center of one palm over the navel, center of other palm over the back center of this hand. Just stand here for 5 breaths and place it right over your belly button. So, Martin, it looks to me like you're off to the side. Where's your navel? Take your index finger. I see. And so place the middle of that palm right over it. I see. And then that hand over top. Got it. Okay. And then we finish with this little hand position, which represents this symbol, that yin yang symbol. Grab the thumb, fold over so you have this little symbol there. So we close and. All right, great job, everybody. If there are questions or thoughts or insights, feel free to unmute and